Suffering and joy teach us, if we allow them, how to make the leap of empathy, which transports us into the soul and heart of another person. In those transparent moments, we know other people's joys and sorrows, and we care about their concerns as if they were our own. Fritz Williams. As we end the year and recall the suffering, the joy, and every other emotion we experienced in that desert outside of Las Vegas, remember that you are a part of a community, a family of mutters who choose to share their lives with each other, challenging one another to grow in new and better ways. Without further ado, here are two men who have shared their lives with us through laughter and copious amounts of beer. Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Carlo and Joshua Cox.
Oh, jeez. Who's sitting there? Hey, look where we are. We're at the thing, at the place. Where's Cliff Jump? Is it down there?
It's over there.
No one said anything about cones.
That's a slalom. If you miss one, it's a penalty. The penalty is you put the cone on your head and finish the race like that. Like if you're from Toy Story. We're gonna do a little course breakdown here, obstacle by obstacle, and we're gonna talk about our feelings about each one. How about that?
I love it. Let's start with the sprint lap.
Can we talk about something right before the sprint lap? Motherfucking Wesley Kerr showed up that day as a fucking volunteer. He was in the volunteer line getting ready to check in and was like,
I think I'm gonna run.
Maybe I'll run.
I'm gonna give that a go.
Maybe I'll just run. I've been kind of training. And the next time I see the motherfucker, he's got the green bib on.
Sonic the fucking Hedgehog.
Right?
You know, red tights, and he'd be more Knuckles, is what he would be.
Fucking Wesley. Sprint lap, my goal was...
Under an hour, right?
Get the sprint lap done before the obstacles came. I think I did like 52 minutes, 53 minutes.
That was 57 or something like that.
Mission accomplished. Obstacles are not open. I feel
awesome.
good.
Got in 5 miles already.
Yep.
Technically like 5.3, whatever.
Depending on whose GPS watch you're looking at.
I felt good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I did too.
It was awesome.
It was hot.
Dude, yeah.
It was hot?
It was hot before it wasn't.
Yes.
Which brings us to lap 2, when obstacles are open.
So tell me, you go back to the pit after lap 1.
Yeah.
All I did between lap 1 and lap 2, besides eat, the stuff I said, is I put on my elbow pads and knee pads. I didn't do any other gear changing. Because my goal for lap 2 was get done before night falls and then fucking layer up, with everything that I got for cold weather before lap 3.
Yep.
Is that you too?
Essentially, yeah. I also put on a compression t-shirt over my tank top because I was anticipating being out there for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yep.
The hour and a half minimum if I'm having a great day.
Yeah.
2 hours most likely.
Yeah.
And I knew that would put me in the spectrum of being there when it was cold. Thank God I did.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. That was the difference maker, I think, between me being one of those people that got knocked out. Because, I mean, a lot of people that you saw getting those hypothermic conditions were going based off of like, oh, I'm feeling good. It's still, warm. Like, let's just get right out there.
If you're a participant and you're like running right, first obstacle you come to is going to be Everest. You had 3 options, come to find out. Everest 1.0, which was regular length Everest plus a very short actually, running penalty.
Yep.
Everest 2.0, which was, if you can do it, God bless you if you can do it.
I want to share my first foray into Everest 2.0. Or it might have been second. I can't remember. It's all a blur. So I got Buck Koalenz, big motherfucker, and Clifford Fraipont.
His real name is Buck Koalenz.
I think I'm saying the last name right.
That's awesome.
His first name's Buck. Dude, he's Team Clydesdale. They're at the top, and you do the whole like point, and you got me, I got you.
Yeah. You get that like, yeah.
Yeah, so we lined up. I go up, and I get a grip, and they're pulling. I can't quite get the ledge, right? And there's a point where I said, all right, no, like, I'm going to give it
next time.
Go.
Yeah.
And Clifford, I don't know if we're on a Cliff name basis. He says, no! And I'm like, okay. And then start fighting again, right? And they finally get me head up there, and all of a sudden Clifford goes, ah! And I'm like, what's the deal, man?
Did I just break Clifford?
And he goes, I've got separated ribs, I shouldn't be pulling people. And then I'm going,
did I just knock Clifford out by having him?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm probably not the guy who should be pulling. And I saw him later on, like 2 laps later, and I'm like, Clifford, I'm so sorry.
Are you broken because of me?
I told him that. I'm like, he goes, it's no problem, it's fine.
Did I break your shit? So as the night went on, if I got to Everest and there was nobody there, I was like, well, I ain't doing 2.0. I was able to get up 1.0 by myself twice, and I was just like, and I'm like at the top, and I make it, and I'm like fucking stoked, right? And even better, I turn around, there's nobody behind me, so I'm like, I ain't gotta help anybody because I'm fucking tired. One time I was like, the lines were kind of, and I was like, and I'm like, is there a full penalty for this? And they're like, yeah, just go up here and you go through birth canal and then you do a little jog. And I was like, fuck yeah,
awesome!
Birth
That's
canal,
easy.
I'm in there.
Until they fucked that shit up on
God.
you. You got the remix of that motherfucker.
For those of you who don't know, birth canal was like 6 in a row, and you had to go perpendicular, and they filled that shit with like 4 million gallons of water.
It was literally 4 million
gallons. You'd get your head through, and then your legs would get stuck underneath the one you just passed through. And at one point I was like, I made a horrible mistake.
Right. I immediately regret this decision.
Exactly.
I made it out the end of mine, and I go, no one's even gonna fucking spank me after this, huh?
No, exactly.
And the volunteer laughed.
It's a boy. That was Everest, right?
Yep.
You get off Everest, you run around for a while, and they didn't necessarily trim all the foliage back. And sometimes you don't learn till it's too late that some of the foliage
Did you get swiped?
Fucking thorns. I didn't.
Justin got cut up.
Yeah.
I get back after the first lap, and Justin, Hollywood, he's sitting down, and he is just cut up everywhere on his legs.
His calf had a good...
Yeah, like they were good gashes. They weren't like a cat scratch where like, oh, it's just kind of red. I made fun of him immediately.
As you should.
Yeah, first lap of last year, like mile 2, he almost breaks his foot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is it with you and the fucking sprint lap,
dude,
Justin?
seriously.
You are killing yourself.
You should start an hour later than everybody else.
No kidding.
Just go slow.
Yeah.
So as you avoided the cheese slicer, as we called it, which I just made up, you came across to me, a very unique obstacle called whale's turd. For those of you who don't know, whale's turd was essentially 3 of the beached whales kind of stacked precariously
and seductively.
They're very seductive, yes. You had to swim out across this little cove of the lake, and then you had to climb up this motherfucker, and it was kind of almost back and then over the top and then climb down. I did 2 laps with it, and then the third time through, they were like, hey dudes, it's broken, just follow this little trail to the left and then just get out of the water and make a left. You had very different luck.
Because of one circumstance.
What's that, buddy?
So I get there, and I think this is like my 3rd or 4th lap. I can't remember which one. Volunteer stationed at the front of the lake is like, it's down.
It's down.
All you got to do is swim, no penalty, no nothing.
Which was good, and you could actually wade. Like, if you followed that rope, you could go a good 30 yards before it was like over your head, and you had to start swimming.
I never got to find that out.
Why is that?
I will tell you why. Because as I'm in the water, it's me and like 3 other people.
Yeah.
We hear Proudy McProuderton up on the top of this fucking whale's turd go, it's fixed! Come one, come all, if you're in the water, you are climbing. And we're all like,
no.
But the dude said, you just gotta heave the first one.
Can you communicate
one
with the gentleman with
the
orange?
He doesn't know.
His shirt.
I'm just gonna go off what he says. All of us are like, motherfucker, and we're swimming over and one of which was Amelia Boone.
Not a motherfucker.
Not a motherfucker.
She's a motherfucking champion.
Yeah, that's what she is. We were one of the like 5 minutes that got to go up it one more time.
Pretty sure, you guys broke it after that.
Yeah, and then after that, they canceled it again. They closed it out. Did you hear why it got shut down?
Dude, I heard it was like starting to break apart with people on it. And like people were like sliding down in between.
Going down the middle and just like...
If you listen, help!
It was
help!
James Christian has a great story. Not a great story if you were one of the people.
But he was right behind. He said it was terrifying.
He was like, those fuckers are like going in and it's closing on top of them and they're wrapped inside the cargo net and they're getting in the water. Like, that's not good.
There was someone, and I can't remember who it was, but they posted that it was someone who was one of the people that went down. And they said as scary as it was, that it was the definition of what Tough Mudder also is all about, because everyone that was stuck in between these 2 giant whale turds, that was our weekend, they were all checking in with one another and like, hey, you dead? No? Awesome. I'm not either. Well, I do want to say when they fixed it, They made it 10 times fucking harder.
Really?
You know how there was 3 that were kind of overlapping one another?
Yeah.
So what they did was they took out one of them. They propped 2 against one another. Only
so it's even more
they
steep?
made it straight up. As soon as I get up to the top, the guy at the top goes, "Hard, huh?" And I'm like, I already fucking hate you for being like, bring it on in. You don't gotta fucking mock me.
Come on, bros.
Hey. Difficult, huh, bro? Huh, bro?
Would you say this is kind of hard or sort of hard?
And I'm trying not to have my inner thigh cramp. I'm like, I got a lot of shit going on, man.
If you made it past that, you got over to a new obstacle, which is called hydroplane. It was like these 1-inch thick pieces of like foam.
Pew, 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 pew.
3 lanes, of which one always seemed to be broken. It was always like, don't go down the middle, it's broken. Don't go to the left, it's broken. Don't go to the right, it's broken.
Don't go to the left or else your shoulder, it's broken.
I always stumbled at each transition. Towards the end though, you kind of learned like, when you get to the end of the pad, you kind of stop and it slides you into the next pad, and you jump on the next pad, you go and you stop, and it would slide you to the shore. So
good for you.
I still fall over
good
from time to time.
Figuring that out.
How about you? How did your time go?
Oh, it went great.
Did it?
Up until it didn't.
Okay.
So, and this is what sucks is, so this is the obstacle on the 4th lap where I fucked my shoulder up. It was happenstance for me. It was the stupidest
What
thing
did you
ever.
do, Cox?
I wish it was a cool story and it's not. I'm cruising along and I did enjoy that obstacle. I'm like, this is kind of cool. I don't mind this at all. I go from the first pad to the second pad.
Yeah.
And true to its name, I hydroplane out. My feet kind of just, I land on my hip and my elbow.
Right.
Don't do that while I'm talking about my injury.
I'm sorry.
Have some social awareness.
Okay.
It's an X for no. And I just landed on my shoulder, fucking super awkward.
In a bad
and
way,
it immediately, like, I could feel the torque, and there wasn't like a pop or a sear, but as soon as I roll into the water, I do the crocodile death roll, like, no. I know something's not right, and I start going through the like, okay, that's all right, and that's where it sucks. Charles Haupert. The gingerbread man.
Gingerbread man.
The gingerbread man! Eat me!
I pretty much ran my final 2 laps with Charles. He goes, what'd you do? And I tell him the story, and he goes, oh my God, that's exactly what I did skiing. And then I finished the rest of the day skiing, and then the next day I couldn't move my arm.
Thanks, gingerbread man.
That's the pep talk of a lifetime there.
Yeah, right?
Woo! Honest to God, he was awesome to have there. He looked out for me in regards to, like, he was helping me through stuff. And there's a couple moments where it's like, I was able to help him up hump chuck, for example. And he's like, which one's the good arm? I'm like, it's clearly the one I'm pointing at you.
Yes.
And not the one that I'm keeping to my side.
Towards you, yeah.
He was very aware of, knowing that my shoulder wasn't really feeling too hot. That happened at the very beginning of my final lap. And I'm like, there's not a chance I'm getting pulled off of this fucker.
You know who's a little bit actually cooler than Charles Haupert?
No one.
Mrs. Haupert.
Oh, okay, I'll take that.
Dude, Mrs. Haupert had a few drinky drinks.
Mrs. Man?
And like, yeah, Mrs. Gingerbread Man. And,
I missed her liquored up.
Oh, dude. She's a fucking riot. She is awesome. Super sweet, lovely woman.
Oh, she's amazing.
Had a couple drinks and was like, and I'm like, little sassy. Little sassy.
She's got a Scotia sass.
But I love it. Hydroplane, you get through that, and then you go to the Liberator. Now, here's the thing. Liberator, it's a mandatory obstacle. At a normal Tough Mudder event, if you're doing a second lap, when you come to your second lap, that shit gets muddy, and it gets slippery, and it gets like, you know what I mean?
In this case, it's muddy and slippery the whole
fucking night.
time.
When I got to like laps 8, 9, 10, I was not dreading it, but I was like, fuck, I have to, this is gonna take some effort because my arms are shot, my grip is shot, and I'm having a hard time getting my knees up high enough and the strength to jam my toes into the notches to get myself moving.
Right.
So it actually became a pretty challenging obstacle as late
challenging in the beginning
race
for a lot
for
of
some people,
you know? It's I mean right off the bat. So
we all know
I
it.
Totally get that.
So, but it was it was manageable, and again, James Christian really helped me out on my last lap. He was like, he knew. I told him as we were walking up to it, this thing's been fucking kicking my ass for a while. He helped like as I got my foot like in the notch, he'd like hold it there for me until I can get myself up and get my arm into the next peg, get my foot in the next one. He'd hold it there. Nice. And once you sweep your leg over, then I like drop the pegs and I'd take a little breather. Yeah. Kind of. Now that one you muscle your shit up that one, right?
I was good with that one. I did see Gina Estrada there. And Gina was awesome because I'd run into her all over the course. Good. She has her camera out and she goes, Cox! You know, I'm dying.
You're tired.
We've been going all day.
Yep.
She goes, Cox! And see, and then immediately I go, that photo, which of course
makes you look a lot better than you were feeling.
Oh yeah, in the moment I'm like, oh, photo. And then immediately like, okay.
It's a very Hannah Copper thing, actually. I'm so dead. Camera, bong, and I'm back to being dead. So we get off Liberator, you kind of go down the hill, right?
Liberator damn near destroyed her.
What? You know what I'm saying?
Talking the sex, yeah.
And you kind of cruise along and you go that stupid little like left-hand turn where it's like you're like stepping in water for no reason. The only thing good about seeing Abseil is that you knew that was the 1 mile mark. And Abseil was like, the first time through I was like, oh, it's not that steep. There's plenty of footing and it never got overly slippery, I thought, throughout the night. The whole deal was Abseil got you down to the gamble.
Fuck that gamble.
The gamble,
gambling did not work for me.
1 through 6. My first lap through, I'm like, brrr, and I roll a 6. And I'm like, oh, no big deal. I've done fucking balls to the wall tons of times.
Until you realize that there's not a fucking bottom slat.
Yeah, there's no bottom 2x4.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I grab the rope. Well, now what the fuck do I do? And the guy's like, dude, you gotta just hold it and pull your legs up. So that first lap, I'm like, the first obstacle lap, I'm holding and my heels hook the 2x4 and I'm literally at a negative angle now.
Kind of call it just a point.
Yeah, absolutely. I got my legs in the stirrups. Yeah. I'm like, what up, ladies?
Hey.
Time for the pap.
Check
and I'm
this
like,
gooch.
Yeah. But literally, I have that moment where it's like, if I roll like 4 6s, I'm fucking dead. I did not realize at this point in the race
there's a penalty.
that there's a penalty.
Which that penalty fucking sucked.
It was an uphill, fucking super rocky, underneath the barbed wire crawl.
Which you don't think about how much an uphill army crawl sucks until you've got to do an uphill army crawl.
I went through it once with Scott McCracken, and that poor guy was getting snagged left and right.
Bet.
He was rolling, and it was like, cut my shoulder, cut my head, cut my neck, cut my shoulder, cut my chest.
That just all around was shit-tacular. That's like spectacular, but shitty.
Even though the penalty for that was shitty, once I realized there was a penalty, I felt better.
Yeah, because there's a point where you could look at a 12-foot wall and go, I don't have that.
Immediately after you finished the gamble, you came to Vertigo. Now, God bless Jason Rulo. I caught Rulo there, and he's like, dude, let me show you a trick. And his thing was like, dude, when you get there, put your foot right in that corner where the 2 1x8s cross.
It won't slide.
Yeah, it won't slide. He knows his shit.
There we go.
Seriously.
Perfect.
Obstacle. And he's handsome, so he's fun to...
Dude, and ripped.
He's fucking ripped.
Man, I bet he's a good kisser.
I don't know.
What? We cannot talk about Vertigo without talking about Sombrero Volunteer.
The Sombrero guy.
Jones.
Mike Jones.
Who? Mike Jones. I'm sure he gets that a lot.
I'm going to see Mike.
Who?
Mike Jones.
Who?
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones ain't seeing nobody.
Yes, he is.
No, he not. Mike ain't seeing
waiting
nobody.
on me. Yes,
no, he
he
not.
is.
Mike ain't waiting on nobody.
Yes, he is.
All 24 hours, Sombrero guy, Mike Jones, at the top of that thing.
He was the only volunteer that I ended up hugging, and I didn't know that everyone hugged him. Dude was the most huggable person of all time. His energy was on point.
Yep.
And let me tell you why I feel bad.
Tell me.
I never once made it across Vertigo without falling.
Oh, really? Okay, I made it like 4 times.
After Mike Jones's ultimate support and encouragement and love.
So good.
He just exuded so much love. I fall, and I turn to him, I look him right in the eye, and I say, I'm going to get it on the next one.
Aw.
And I never did.
You didn't come back?
No, I
did. Okay.
I did
You
it.
just didn't make
I
it.
did it several more times after that.
Okay.
But I never completed it.
Got it.
And I just don't want him to be disappointed in me.
If you made it through Vertigo, you went down the hill, came around the corner. This year, it was a new obstacle they called Operation. Operation was the one where you took like the 6-foot pole and you had to go through the one wall, standing in water, going through the metal lined wall to hook the ring, to come back through, to hand the ring to the volunteer. If you touched any part of it with the metal, you get shocked and you're standing in water, as are your mates. Chances are they get shocked too. So what I called that obstacle was fucking Nope.
We're coming up on Nope.
You know what I did?
Lay some gospel on me, brother.
I walked to the top. The volunteer would be like, if you go over here, and I would like, high five.
La 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 la.
Go grab a sandbag, put it on your shoulder, walk it down to the bottom of the hill. 1, 2, walking that fucking sandbag like all the way through the tube. I just did that the rest of the event. One lap, it was probably like lap 7 or 8. I grabbed a sandbag and I started to lift it, and I realized that shit was like 10 pounds. But I didn't want to like let on, so I totally did the.
You're such an asshole.
Totally, because I didn't want the volunteer to know the shit was like, because I wanted to save it for other motors, right?
other matters.
And I struggled my way down, fired that thing through the fucking tube, and I came back and put it back in the pile, and I was like, ugh, whew. But then I came around the next time, and those fuckers had a bunch of sandbags open, and they were refilling them and retying them. And I'm like, damn it.
I was thinking, like, you're not guaranteed to get shocked. I'm gonna at least give it a go one time. What's the worst that can happen? Like, whatever. So if I get shocked once, I'm gonna get shocked later because I'm not doing that fucking cliff. I still have this thought process. Until
what, Josh Cox?
Until I get to the top, and all I hear is, bzzz, ah! Bzzz, woo! Bzzz, ah! Sandbag it is.
Sandbag it is.
Good day, sirs. Good day.
You leave operation, and you're like, this is cool. Oh, I guess I'll just like go around that little ridge, and I'll end up coming up to Grease Monkey. As you get closer, you realize there's a cluster of little flashing lights, and you're like, what's going on?
No.
It's fucking tight fit. The fucking tractor tires with the goddamn devil's beard over it.
That one is nothing but annoying.
That is so frustrating.
Yeah.
That's what that is. And when you're there, when you roll up and you're by yourself, like in the middle of the night when the course thinned out, and you're just like,
and it's just you needing to be like,
dude, I would stand there. It's just me and the volunteer, and I'm just like, I don't want to fucking do this. I think there was more of a consensus of people not wanting that obstacle here this year, which is why fucking Brady was like, bitches, guess
what you're gonna get.
Top fit, yo!
That also seemed to be the one where there was the most unspoken synchronicity. Go through, help. Go through, help.
Reel your back, raise your arms. Come on, go.
And then you get to the very end, you replace whoever's holding up the end of it.
Exactly.
No words. Thank you for helping me run along, little doggy. There was at least that bright side of working together.
Right. So you struggle through that bullshit, and you come around, and there's Grease Monkey, which I thought was really neat.
I don't like it. No, I love it.
I enjoyed it until I didn't.
Correct. I think I probably got through it 6 times, I bet. And 7 was like, I'm wet. Then I realized after that, I didn't know what the penalty was.
It was the feet together.
The penguin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Charles and I had a great time on that one. We're like, this is fine. Like, all right, just having a laugh.
Yeah. Grease Monkey, you go through it. When it was working properly, I enjoyed Statue of Liberty. The last half of the race, there was no torches. It was literally just another fucking swim. One of my favorite stories from Statue of Liberty is one of the first times I got there with PJ Catalano. They have the one torch that you light off of. The way those torches work is you've got a little canister of fluid with the wick, and it's all inside the little wicker thing. So PJ like is cranking his over 90 degrees, right? He lights
just pouring out flammable
What you don't realize
oil.
is it's letting the oil kind of get all around. So he like lights it. We're doing the side stroke, and we're swimming along the water. And I hear him, he's like, bro, look at my shit, dude. It's on fire. And I'm like, dude, all of our shit's on fire. He's like, no, dude, look. The whole top of his torch, like wicker and all, is fucking burning. It's a giant torch. And I'm like, dude, you better fucking speed up.
Yeah, your shit's burning.
It's gonna burn down to your hand.
Burning.
So he had to fucking kind of hightail it across the lake. And they're like, do not blow it out until you get out. And he's kind of like, would you have like maybe just gone up with your hand and been like
my hand's still
lit.
4th degree straight to the bone, but I don't have to do the penalty, right?
So pretty much all those things kind of just petered out there by like lap 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And anyway, actually we moved on to, well, there was a new obstacle called Gutbuster.
What do you call it?
A short swim followed by a cinder block carry. Because that bitch was not meant for anybody like 5'8" or shorter.
Short people got no reason. Short people got no reason. Short people got no reason to live.
I know there's some of you who are 5'8" who made it, and fuck you.
I'm 5'9", 5'10" in the right shoes,
Yeah.
and I made it 3/4 of the way across, just stretched out, like doing a full-on extended plank. I slip, and I go, not a chance in hell I'm expending that
Too much
energy.
energy exertion for what? Some of the folks I ran with who could do it, I could swim across.
Faster than it took them
and do the
to
penalty,
do it.
and we would finish at the same time.
Because the penalty wasn't bad. That was cinder block.
It was a very short cinder block carry.
At that point, I was spending a lot of time with John Glines.
Yeah.
He is awesome. So John and I, both of us were kind of looking at it like, yeah, swim. Yeah.
I'm going with the Sand Creek Oktoberfest Sand Black Creek Blue
It's
Company.
smoking.
Yeah. Thank you, Aaron Krebs.
You're the man, Aaron.
I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am.
So,
Hey, Ron.
the first time through, when I saw it, I'm like, oh. I grabbed the bars. I'm like doing like a kickstand thing. I'm like trying to put my foot. It won't touch the plywood. And the volunteer's like, you got to go lower on the poles to make it.
Move over. I can't go any lower.
Yeah.
He's already pulled over. He can't pull over any farther.
And I'm like, I don't reach.
You have to cup the bottom of the poles.
Seriously.
And then just scoot on your tiptoes. You do that, and then one at a time as they move.
Yeah. So that one, fuck it.
I love when you tell me how wet you are.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, get that. Oh, it's all around your lips.
So then you move on to Hump Chuck, which was there last year. That one I called a long swim followed by somebody please fucking help me. And not a short man's obstacle. I got helped by especially from the community, so many people, and a really cool Swedish guy who I never got his name. He spoke very little English.
That's for the
Krebs and I went up and over that together. Yeah, he didn't need help because Aaron Krebs is
that dude's
stud.
Well, he is Captain America. Captain America. Do you understand what it is I'm saying to you?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Alan Hungerford, the bearded fellow we met in the registration line.
Oh, yeah.
Who works in the music industry.
Yes.
Who fucking was kicking it with Corey Taylor of Slipknot.
Yeah.
Like the night before the race. He was one of the, honest to God, one of the coolest people
seriously
I met on course.
I really, really enjoyed that guy. Not even on course, just out.
Oh, yeah, just in general. Him and I spent probably a
enough.
good, maybe half a lap hanging and going along, and we ran into each other and we helped each other.
I really like that guy. I'm so glad you mentioned it.
Dude was fantastic.
Fucking cool as fuck.